What's the worst thing you've heard at a hospital? The whole time I've worked as a nurse, my supervisor always said, family first, patient comfort second, which honestly never sat right with me. Mrs. Diaz was dying. Stage 4 cancer, maybe days left. Her breathing was labored and she needed peace. Her daughter flew in from California. I expected emotional goodbyes, but she immediately started complaining. She stood by Mrs. Diaz's bedside making phone calls about selling the house. She said, Mom can't hear anyway, so what's the point of whispering? I said, actually, hearing is often the last sense to go. She might understand everything. The daughter rolled her eyes, called her realtor, and started discussing property values right there in the room. Mrs. Diaz's heart rate spiked on the monitor. I said, could you please take business calls in the hallway? Your mom needs calm right now, and these conversations might be upsetting her. She snapped back, said I was being dramatic, claimed she'd driven 6 hours and wasn't going to tiptoe around a woman who was basically already gone. She said I was interfering with family time. Meanwhile, Mrs. Diaz's oxygen levels were dropping and she was clearly agitated, trying to move her hand toward the call button. I said, this is her room. She deserves dignity in her final hours. The daughter said I was being unreasonable. She kept talking about funeral costs and inheritance while Mrs. Diaz struggled to breathe. I walked over to the bed, took Mrs. Diaz's hand, and said loudly, ma'am, would you like your daughter to step outside for a while? Mrs. Diaz squeezed my hand twice, our signal for yes. I looked at the daughter and said, your mother just asked you to leave. She screamed that I was lying, that her mom couldn't communicate, and she was going to report me for being rude to grieving family. She stormed out of the room, called my supervisor, and demanded I be written up. Mrs. Diaz passed peacefully that night while her daughter was arguing with hospital administration downstairs.